mainframe computer and the supercomputers, and there is a question of both of them into your exam, which I will relate to after teaching you the concept. Second part is that it gave you example of the use of mainframe computer and supercomputers. Then we will discuss the advantages, disadvantages. We will be describing the types of system softwares and how they are used. We will be explaining the advantages and disadvantages, the need for utility softwares, what are the utility softwares, what are their examples. Then we will discuss when it comes to customers, written softwares or off-the-shelf softwares. So let's start that. So first of all, I'm going to ask a number of questions from both of you. So, Amna, can you give me the answer? Like, do you understand that what is the purpose of an input, output, and the storage device?
Sir, input is like the process and the output is like the result you get.
Input is the process?
Yeah, and the
No,
output is
no, 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 wrong,
uh,
wrong.
the result.
In input is the data that you are entering into your computer system. Output is the result that it is generating based on the process. And storage device is going to be the medium on which your data is going to be stored, like hard disk drive, solid state drive. Danish, can you tell me the difference between hardware and software?
Sir, hardware, USB, for example, hardware USB, printer. These are
Can,
examples of hardware.
can you be specific?
Uh, sir, जो सर physically exist करती हो.
हाँ, ओके, दिस इज अ गुड पॉइंट, एक्सेलेंट। हार्डवेयर में जो चीज फिजिकल एग्जिस्ट करती है, जो आप जिसको हम बोलेंगे, आई थिंक टेंजिबल इज द करेक्ट वर्ड। टेंजिबल, यस, दैट कैन बी परसेप्टेबल बाय द टच, सो दैट इज मोस्टली हार्डवेयर जिसकी कोई फिजिकल एग्जिस्टेंस है। एंड फिजिकल एग्जिस्टेंस जिसकी नहीं है, जो आप अपने कंप्यूटर के अंदर इंस्टॉल करते हो, दैट इज सॉफ्टवेयर। सो हार्डवेयर are the basically physical components of your computers. So when it comes to a hardware, it can include your CPU, your central processing unit, your motherboard, your random access memory, your read-only memory, your graphic card, sound card, monitor, keyboard, mouse, printer, and memory card, and all the others. These are the hardware devices. Whereas if I refer to in terms of a software is not like a device. It is known for the programs. It is known for the applications such as a word processor, spreadsheet, anti-malware, or operating system. In your software, each program will consist of programming codes, which gives instructions to the computer in order to carry out a task. So the difference is you have your softwares that give the command to your hardware, and then your hardware process information in binary format. So important keywords are, first of all, the device. The device is basically a hardware component of a computer that is consisting of electronical equipments. Software is the program which gives instructions to the computer, and operating software system is the software that manages the hardware within a computer system. Now, I'm going to discuss with you mainframe computers and supercomputers. So first of all, let's discuss what are the mainframe computers. So these are known as the mainframe computers, and like you can see that they consist of like many bigger auditoriums. You can see these all are the mainframe computers. They are mostly used in organizations like Google, like Microsoft, wherever they want to get a large amount of data, or if they want more amount of processing. So mainframe computers basically serve many terminals, usually within a thousands an organization. So this is like the terminal. So they basically process more power into that. So a terminal can be a computer that is connected to a mainframe computer. So for example, right here, you can see that this is terminal one, this is terminal two. You might have seen these in the movies and in the films as well. Like this is the place where all of your organizations process the data. Uh, Mainframe computers are also used to host businesses database. Like we have the database for Microsoft. What is the database for Microsoft? Microsoft, their user accounts, their username, their passwords, all of that. So this is stored in a database, such as Facebook as well. So like companies like this, when they want to host their businesses, when they want to host their organization, so they refer to these types of computers. So what is a mainframe computer? The mainframe computer is a powerful computer that is serving several terminals. That means that you are going to have several terminals at one place. So they are used for larger scale transaction processing or batch processing. Large scale transaction processing means at the same time you are processing a more number of transactions, maybe in your banking or maybe in your digital media. And the batch processing means that when you are processing your task all at one go. Then we have the supercomputers as well. So this is an example of a supercomputer, right? So you can see that they are all listed here. So supercomputer is basically a large computer with parallel processing to complete high complex tasks more quickly. So when you have a large computers with the power of parallel processing means at the same time they are processing for solving the complex instructions or complex tasks quickly. So supercomputers are used. Like they are used for research in quantum mechanics, where you need to make billions of calculations to stimulate the dynamic of millions of atoms. Like you have might have seen industries, or you might have seen chemical industries, or like at atomic production, so things like this. So where you need extreme amount of power, maybe in weather forecasting, maybe in climate search, or maybe when you want to work with numerical models of the atmosphere, ocean, sea, or space. So this is where supercomputers come in the place, right? Right, like this. So the supercomputers can process billions of observations, from monitoring weather stations to like radar, satellite, all of them. Now, what are some of the characteristics of the mainframe and supercomputers? First of all, mainframe computers need to have a reliability, availability, and service availability characteristics. That means that they needs to be that they are reliable, you can rely on. That means that their design prioritize the system being available 100% of the time. So it's not like that they are not available, you can totally rely on those. Their hardware components are capable of processing extreme amount of information, and at the same time, if there is a failure, so they can automatically recover as well. So softwares that are used on the mainframe as well, they are also used by going rigorous testing, and they are updated as well. To remain available, the mainframe computers must be able to continue to operate all of the time. So there will be like many hardware components with large storage and power supplies that will be over automatically if an components fail. So that means that even if a component is failed, so they have a backup that can be swapped easily without impacting the service. So mainframes can also operate without the downtime for many years. Like they do not need maintenance, they do not need this servicing as well. Longevity is one of the important features for both of them, and this is why they makes it best suited for financial investments, maybe in the stock market, so that they can be used without any downtime for several years. They also have the ability to upgrade themselves as well. Like as the demand is increasing, their memory, their processing power can still be upgraded without any downtime. Due to the power and quantity of processors of the mainframe and supercomputers at the same time, they generate a lot of heat as well, and they also consume a lot of electricity as well. Therefore, there has to be cooling systems placed which can cool up your environment, and they usually need large chillers that can use a lot of power. So you can use other methods as well for chilling or for cooling the room, but you might have seen that anywhere where these equipments are placed, so they need like chillers to cool down because they process with extreme power, and that's why they generate an extreme heat. Like as mainframe services many applications and thousands of simultaneous users, they require multi-layer as well to approach to security, like including identifying users, authentication. So individuals are given access levels based on them. Like for example, I have engineers, I have the people who are visiting them, the people who are keeping care of it. Now here is the advantages and disadvantages part. So for example, what is the advantage? The first is the advantage that they are designed to be reliable. They are available and serviceable anytime, which makes them reliable and than computer without any downtime. Another advantage is that they are scalable because processors and memory can be added, can be required. And what are the disadvantages? Some of the disadvantages are their high cost of mainframe computers. Supercomputers mean that they are only used by large organizations such as your governments, your banks, and they also require you a specialist operating system or someone who is aware of the components, so they are very expensive. You also need a lot of space as well to install a mainframe computer. You also need to like maintain the temperature. They are designed to last for 10 years. They also need specialist support as well. Their ability to process extreme large amount of data. Their interface is command driven. So it cannot be understandable by each and everyone. And more than one operating system can be used at once, which can improve the performance. But supercomputers are processing big data, so they need massive storage devices as well, which will ultimately reduce your, increase your cost. Hardware failures can if there is any, so they can be resolved very quickly. Now, let me share some questions of this mainframe and supercomputers. Okay, this is the question number 4. The question number 4 says that the performance of mainframe computers and supercomputers is often measured using performance metrics. Compare by describe the similarities and difference among them, between them, the different type of performance matrix. Okay, this question is for 6 marks. Do you have any idea for this part?
सर हम पहले उनकी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स बताएंगे दोनों की।
Okay.
जैसे इट्स लाइक आरएस में आ जाएगा, इसके अंदर सिक्योरिटी आ जाएगी, अवेलेबिलिटी आ जाएगी, एंड देन उसका बताएंगे हम लोग मैट्रिक्स उसका सुपर
What do you,
कंप्यूटर्स का।
okay. This is for 6 marks. Danish, what do you say? Do you have any idea?
Same, sir. रिलायबिलिटी बताएंगे, इनकी वो
यार
बताएंगे,
लेकिन
एम आई
क्वेश्चन
पी
में एक
एस।
चीज देखो, इन्होंने कहा है कि कंपेयर बाय डिस्क्राइबिंग द सिमिलैरिटीज एंड डिफरेंसेस बिटवीन देम द डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ परफॉर्मेंस मैट्रिक्स। ये क्या होता है?
मेन फ्रेम कॉम्प्लेक्स कॉम्प्लेक्स इक्वेशंस, कॉम्प्लेक्स,
देखो,
पता नहीं सर।
सबसे पहले आप इसकी
सर
सिमिलैरिटीज लिखोगे। सिमिलैरिटीज के अंदर यह आएगा कि बोथ आर यूज टू मेजर परफॉर्मेंस स्पीड ऑफ कंप्यूटर प्रोसेसर्स। Both can be unreliable as the complexity of instructions can vary according to which program is being tested, and instructions might take longer to process other than the simple ones. This is the similarities. Now, what are the differences? MIPS are used within mainframes, okay, and the flops are used within supercomputers. So, if I take back to you to this point, so historically, the performance of the mainframe computer has been measured by how many instructions it can perform each second. So this is measured in millions of instructions per second. So if it is a mainframe computer, then it has to be measured in MIPS, which basically stands for millions of instructions per second. However, this is not considered as an accurate measurement. Okay. Other than that, another performance measurement is flops, which stands for floating point operation per second, or megaflops. So megaflops means that which is 1 million floating point operations per second. So floating point instructions are used in scientific computational research and so on. They are used to compare the speeds of supercomputers. Like the megaflops give you a more reliable measurements of performance than millions of instructions per second, but they are still discrepancies. So it's like sometimes I share with you the processor speed in terms of gigahertz. So when it comes to a mainframe computer, it is measured in MIPS, and when it comes to a supercomputer, it's measured in MF flops or flops. So this is like when you are working with the performance measurement. So this is why it has written that MIPS are used with supercomputers and M flops are used within supercomputers. Then MIPS can be used with integers, but megaflops are used with real numbers. MIPS can measured in millions, but MFLOPS are measured in quadrillions and higher. MIPS is a millions of instructions per second. FLOP is floating point operations per second. And MIPS is used when measuring performance of computers involved in running application software like this. So the question said that you need to discuss their similarity and differences with their performance metrics. Performance metrics आपके पास वो होते हैं जिनसे आप किसी भी कंप्यूटर की स्पीड को आप अपने पास मेजर करते हो। तो राइट नाउ ये दोनों यूनिट्स आपके पास यूज होंगे इस क्वेश्चन के अंदर। अगर आप लोगों ने सिंपल डिफरेंसेस या सिमिलैरिटीज लिख दी तो आप लोगों को फुल मार्क्स नहीं मिलेंगे। The marking scheme says that there should have to be at least one similarity and one difference to gain full marks. Okay, so I am sending you this. Okay, here is another question. It says that mainframe computers and supercomputers are a specialist types of computers with some similar characteristics. What is meant by each of the following characteristics? A is fault tolerance, B is heat maintenance. Okay, so let's start with Amna. Can you give me 3 points for the A part, which is fault tolerance?
I have no idea.
फॉल्ट टॉलरेंस से समझ क्या आता है? अभी मैंने बताया था ना कि मेन फ्रेम कंप्यूटर्स के पास इफ देयर इज अ फॉल्ट, So they do not have to be go for maintenance or for any downtime, because if there is a fault, so their hardware component can be swapped easily, so they don't have to shut down their operation, or they don't have to shut down their system. ये वाला पार्ट फॉल्ट टॉलरेंस में आएगा कि अगर कोई फॉल्ट आ भी जाता है तो द मेन फ्रेम कंप्यूटर्स कैन टॉलरेट इट इजीली. So I'll tell you how you have to break it down into 3 points and reply. Mr. Danis, can you reply me for the B part, which is heat maintenance?
सर हीट मेंटेनेंस होती है कि जब कंप्यूटर वर्क करता है तो हीट करता है। तो अगर हीट करेगा तो उसका कोई भी क्या कहते हैं हार्डवेयर कुछ खराब हो सकता है, तो उसके लिए फिर वाटर कूलिंग होती है उसको कूल करने के लिए,
गुड गुड
या
गुड
एयर
गुड.
कूलिंग।
ज्यादा वर्क करेगा तो ज्यादा हीट आएगी,
जी।
ज्यादा बारिश होगी तो ज्यादा पानी आएगा.
यस सर।
अच्छा देखो, मुझे पता तो है कि आप लोगों को इसके जवाब आते हैं, आप लोग घुमा फिरा सकते हो एग्जामिनर को, बट आई वांट यू टू लर्न ऑल्सो कि आप अपने आंसर को डिलीवर कैसे करोगे. तो दोनों का मैं आपको मार्किंग स्कीम के अंदर पॉइंट्स देता हूँ, दिखाता हूँ. दिस इज क्वेश्चन नंबर 3, पार्ट ए बी. सबसे पहले अ, आपके पास जो है वो यहाँ पर 3 पॉइंट्स हैं. और ओके, फॉल्ट टॉलरेंस में लिखा हुआ है कि वेदर अ कंप्यूटर विल रिपेयर इट्स सेल्फ इफ एन एरर अकर्स. अगर कंप्यूटर में कोई भी एरर है तो वो अपने आप को इट विल ट्राई इट सेल्फ टू रिपेयर. वेदर अ कंप्यूटर विल रिपेयर इट सेल्फ इफ एन एरर अकर्स. वेदर अ कंप्यूटर कैन कंटिन्यू टू ऑपरेट इवन इफ देर आर वन और मोर कंपोनेंट हैज फेल्ड without affecting the operation without any downtime, or whether a computer operating quality can reduce but will not fail or reduce completely. So whether new hardware components, processors failed another or task over elements are hot swappable without operation the downtime. So the computers have two different installations or versions of the software. So it's more, it's like if you have a problem with one part, you can move on to the next part. This is for your fault tolerance. Then for the B part, for the heating part, it says that computers becomes generated heat, they will become overheated. When the computer becomes overheated, it will address the issues. Overheating of maintenance and supercomputers is a problem due to the quality and quantity of processing generating a lot of heat, hence the need for cooling systems. Air cooling systems have been used up a lot of power, so water cooling systems are most effective. So you are going to define it this right here for 3 points. After that, the C part says that mainframe computers were developed from the need for computers to process data in tasks such as carrying out consensus. This is one of the points that we have to discuss. So mainframe computers are mostly used if you want to work with the consensus, or if you want to work with a conclusion. So you need to explain that why mainframe computers are used to process the data from the consensus for 3 points. So you are going to write that because first of all, the amount of data has that is being processed is very large. So as countries tend to have a lot of people, the amount of data is increasing. And as each consensus produce more data, as like the population is increasing, so a lot of data needs to be processed at the same time in a short period of time. And since mainframe computers have a very high speed of processing the data, so mainframe computers are very reliable to work on this. I have shared the answer for the A part, B part, and C part. यार मेन फ्रेम कंप्यूटर्स और सुपर कंप्यूटर्स एक ऐसा टॉपिक है जिसके सवाल आपको हर पेपर में और हमेशा आपको मिलेंगे. Here is another question. Mainframe computers are used in banking, supercomputers are used in climatic search. Explain what is meant by mainframe computer and by a supercomputer with reference to the type of processing and processors they each use. Explain how supercomputers are used in climate research. Can you give me any points for this? सबसे पहले बेटा देखो क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 के पार्ट ए के अंदर कहा हुआ है कि यू नीड टू टेल विद रेफरेंस द टाइप ऑफ प्रोसेसिंग एंड द प्रोसेसर्स दे यूज. तो सबसे पहले इसको देख लेते हैं कि कौन सी टाइप ऑफ प्रोसेस और प्रोसेसर ये यूज कर रहे हैं. अच्छा याद रहे कि आई एम टेकिंग यू द पास्ट पेपर्स सो दैट यू कैन गेन अ मोर इन डेप्थ नॉलेज. इस तरह से बुक में लिखा हुआ है बट इफ यू आर जस्ट गोइंग टू गो टू द बुक यू विल नेवर बी एबल टू रिप्लाई टू दीज टाइप्स ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हमें बताना है कि व्हाट इज. अच्छा ए लेवल IT 9626 के पेपर के अंदर द कॉम्प्लेक्स पार्ट इज दैट एक क्वेश्चन के अंदर दे आस्क यू मल्टीपल थिंग्स एंड इफ यू डू नॉट रिप्लाई टू दोज स्पेसिफिकली यू विल नॉट गेट फुल मार्क्स. अब जैसे अगर मैं इफ आई एम प्रिपेयरिंग यू फॉर द मैक्सिमम मार्क्स और फॉर द ए ग्रेड in maybe P1 or P3. Why? Because this is the most easiest one. This is all theory. So just with a little practice and with little strategy, I want you to gain the maximum marks from it. ताकि अगर P2 P4 में कोई भंड भी हो तो उसको हम later on कवर कर लें. लेकिन यहाँ सवाल में लिखा हुआ है कि सबसे पहले आपने एक्सप्लेन करना है मेन फ्रेम क्या है एंड बाय अ सुपर कंप्यूटर विद रेफरेंस. और सुपर कंप्यूटर का रेफरेंस देके ये बताना है कि प्रोसेसिंग कौन कौन सी होती है और कौन कौन सा प्रोसेसर यूज होता है. मतलब एक ही सवाल में 3 से 4 चीजें उसने पूछी हुई है और ये क्वेश्चन है आपके पास 3 मार्क्स के लिए. तो उसको डिलीवर करने के लिए सबसे पहले आप अपने पास ये लिखोगे कि अ मेन फ्रेम कंप्यूटर कैन हैव हंड्रेड्स ऑफ प्रोसेसर्स. All cores has an operating systems, or you can say that mainframe uses parallel processing and it can process large amounts at the same time. Whereas when it comes to a supercomputer, तो supercomputer के अंदर more than 1 लाख प्रोसेसिंग कोर्स होते हैं और ये मैसिवली पैरेलल प्रोसेसिंग यूज करता है. याद ये रखना है कि अगर मेन फ्रेम है तो वो पैरेलल प्रोसेसिंग है और सुपर कंप्यूटर है तो वो मैसिवली पैरेलल प्रोसेसिंग है. दोनों में फर्क है. जो मैसिवली है वो ज्यादा पावरफुल है. तो उसके बाद है कि ईच प्रोसेसर कोर हैज देयर ओन ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम और जीपीयू. सो दिस इज द वे दैट आई हैव डिलीवर्ड माय आंसर. इसमें आपके पास ये भी आ गया कि आपके पास मेन फ्रेम कंप्यूटर सुपर कंप्यूटर के रेफरेंस से क्या है और आपके पास प्रोसेसिंग और प्रोसेसर कौन से यूज हो रहे हैं. क्योंकि अगर इस क्वेश्चन में आप सिर्फ डेफिनेशन लिख दोगे तो गलत हो जाएगा. उन्होंने कहा हुआ है कि आपको रेफरेंस के साथ बात करनी है. फिर आपके पास है इसका बी पार्ट से दैट एक्सप्लेन हाउ सुपर कंप्यूटर्स आर यूज्ड इन क्लाइमेटिक रिसर्च. क्लाइमेटिक रिसर्च में कैसे यूज होते हैं. तो क्लाइमेटिक रिसर्च के लिए many types of variables are collected, complex calculations are carried out. It identifies 2 items measured by sensors for this purpose. Large quantity of data is also processed and handled. It also shows you historical trends as well over the past decade, past period, and it also shows you mathematical formulas to describe how the different parts of climate system interact with each other, how system changes. Okay, in this paper, this is 2022 October, November 1 2. First of all, I have the first question for the mainframe computer. Describe what is meant by the term RAS, reliability, accessibility, serviceability when applied to the mainframe computers. This is for 5 marks. And then from the same paper, there is another question for this. Let me show you here. Question number 6. It says that explain why supercomputers are used for weather forecasting. On the same paper, you have two questions from the same topic. I have sent you both of the questions. So for question number 2, what is meant by RAS means reliability, accessibility and serviceability. ये हमें define करना है for 5 marks. So for 5 marks, you are going to deliver that robustness means the durability of the mainframe computer. Reliability is the chance of the computer that is behaving as intended as you can rely on. And accessibility refers to the mainframe computer that is being operational at all times. So serviceability is like it can easily be fixed within a short period of time. So even if there is a case of failure, mainframes are reliable. The system software is reliable as well, and their mean time between failures is quite long for the mainframe. So you can create your answers from right here, but for 3 to 4 points, you should basically explain this service reliability and accessibility. Other than that, I have question number 6. 6 is right here for the supercomputers. So you are just going to take some points from here. That said that this is really powerful computer. It can carry out the calculations and where it is used, and that's all. So this is one of the most important topics from your syllabus because you can yourself see the amount of questions it has to make sure that you are totally aware about it. After that, I have 2.2, which is system software, but we will start it tomorrow. So that's all for here. Now I expect you to practice the questions that I shared with you. If you have any problems, please feel free